Good evening, friends. I'm hoping you're having a great Monday. It's Angela here with Wild Violets Art, and I am going to play again with the Country Woods Suite collection, this time with the bundle Country Flowers. And we're also going to be using the really pretty DSP um, Country lace, and it's just really some fun denim and eyelet patterns that are in some really great neutral colors. Just definitely a shabby chic bundle. But tonight I'm going to do just a wee bit of watercolor just for a little bit of a background, and we're going to make a really pretty card that's for Mother's Day. It's just really easy to reproduce, and it's going to be my go-to for Mother's Day this year. So let's get started. So this is page 48 to 51, and it's about the Country Suites collection. Again, this suite has 2 bundles and 2 DSPs, along with the pearl embellishments, the eyelet embossing folder, and these really pretty ribbons. So there's lots to love in this, and I didn't want to overwhelm people, so we did the birdhouse for my May class, and we'll be doing the Country Woods for my June class. And I'm pairing the Country Flowers with the Country Lace and Country Birdhouse with the Country Woods DSP. Okay, so this is the card that we're making tonight, and it's just a really pretty simple card. It's just got a couple of basic colors. So we've got petal pink background wash in watercolor, and then we've stamped in basic gray, and then we have smoky slate, base cardstock, white DSP embossed with the really beautiful eyelet embossing folder. And then we just have some pearl embellishments. Super easy. It just comes together really fast, and I'll show you. I put a little bit more DSP in the background with a Happy Mother's Day, and this will be, like I said, my go-to card for Mother's Day this year. So I think it's just really elegant and simple. You don't have to color all the flowers if you don't have time or you don't want to. I think just the simple beauty of this is perfect. Okay. So let me just show you again what the bundle and the dies look like. So we'll play with the dies next week, and we'll make something really pretty with the dies. So you can see there's like 15 pieces of dies, a lot of really pretty flowers, lots of leaves. So we'll have fun with that. And then there's all these different pots and a little milking stool as well. Actually, it should be a 3-legged stool for a milking stool, but neither here nor there. But this is just a great little set of stamps, fun to color. But tonight I'm not coloring them, and I think just having a really pretty watercolor wash is just going to be perfect for it. So lots of really pretty little sentiments. And because it doesn't have a Happy Mother's Day sentiment in it, I'm using the Stippled Roses Happy Mother's Day, but you can use any Mother's Day stamp that you want to get your sentiment. Okay, so I've got the basic gray and petal pink. And, oh, I was going to show you the Designer Series paper real quick as well. So this is a close-up view of all the really pretty patterns. So I'm going to bring this up real close to the camera so you can see all of them. So this first one looks like a denim, and then it just keeps going to, actually I took out one of the pieces for this, so actually it looks like this. This is the front side of it, and then this is the back side, and then we have all these other really pretty eyelet and denim papers. So I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I wore a lot of denim and a lot of eyelet. And I think that that's just how I was raised, kind of in the country. So I was okay with that. All right, so we're going to use just a little piece of watercolor paper. And so this is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. It's 2.5 by 3.5 inches. So just a really little piece. we're going to use this little silicone mat because I think it works great. And whenever you're doing watercolor, the best way to get a really pretty wash in the background is to wet your paper. And I'm using the water spritzer. So this is the Stampin' Spritzer that Stampin' Up! Sells. And then to get a little bit of color, you don't have to do this, but you can. I just squeeze my stamp pads together. I've done it for a long time. I don't mind having a little bit of mess inside. And then I'm going to put a little bit of water in here as well. Or you can squeeze your painter. And I'm just going to get as much color as I can, starting from the center. And then I'm just going to continue to go out along the edge in a round rotating direction so that the color fades as it goes out. So you don't have to have a lot of ink. I think just a little bit, and you get a really pretty wash that you can stamp on. So I don't have to wait until this dries. You can use a heat gun if you want to get it to dry. I have one that's already ready to go, so we're just going to use this one. All right. So this really pretty one here is, okay, so this is just a little piece of watercolor paper, and then we're going to take the stamp pad, basic gray. Sorry, I was getting a work email and it kind of tossed me because it was IT I was trying to get help from. Okay, so I put this Sending Love just below the pot so that I didn't have to have two blocks, and this just lets me stamp it all at one time. So this is just basic gray. And then I'm going to come back with the flowers, the ones with the rose and some of the sprigs. And then I'm going to line up the petals with the top of the jar. And it goes right to the edge. I probably should have tweaked it just a little bit, but so you can see it's just really pretty basic design, and it's done. Okay, so now I'm going to be starting with a smoky slate card base. And sorry, I keep getting this email from work. Okay, so let me just, I apologize. I never get that kind of thing going, but it's a company that does our IT, and they were trying to help me today, and they couldn't get back to me before I was done with work. Okay, because it's 5 o'clock or 5:39 right now, California time, that's why he thinks he can just reach out. Okay, so I've taken a 4" by 5¼ piece of white designer series paper, and I embossed it with this really pretty eyelet 3D embossing folder. It's just so pretty. I just love it. It's very, very, it reminds me of when I was growing up. Okay. And I'm just going to glue this directly onto my card base. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this section up. So this is just a 4" by 3" piece of designer series paper. And I'm going to use some dimensionals, and I'm going to pop up this piece here. using probably way more than I need to, but I don't like them to flatten out much. Okay, and then just center it on my card. And then before I place this on here, I'm just going to glue it on. I'm going to distress the edges. Now I'm just using my nail. And if you don't feel like you can do that with your nail, you can also do it with your scissors edges. And we're just going to distress it really nicely so that it, I don't know if you've ever noticed works of art in a museum, but watercolors always have this ragged edge. And I just think it's really a pretty look. So, and then I can curl a corner or two, get rid of some of the fuzz. And then I'm just going to glue this directly to my DSP. The edges curl up a little bit, and I'm okay with that because that, again, just gives it another 3D element. And I forgot to give you the, or maybe I did, the size of this 2.5 by 3.5. So, all right. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pearls on this. And there's two different colors in the pearls. There's basic gray and there's also smoky slate. And I went ahead and used the basic gray, but you can use any color you want. Just, you know, take a look and see what color works best for you. And the card's done. I could see myself reproducing this really easily. Oops, I was going to do the inside. Okay, for the inside, I'm using a same size as the white piece on the outside, a 4-inch by 5.5-inch piece of the Designer Series paper. And then I'm going to use this is 3.5 by 4 3/4 piece of basic white cardstock. And then just center it nicely. And then I'm going to use the basic gray again. And I'm going to put this medallion right in the middle. And this is just another stamp from the Country Flowers. And it kind of matches the eyelet pattern. Oops, I need this again. And then I'm going to do the Happy Mother's Day right over the top of it, or just above it. Isn't that pretty? Just really elegant, but kind of country and simple at the same time. So I think it's a great combo. And then for the envelopes, I just stamped the same image, but I did one in basic or basic gray, and I did the other one in the petal pink. So which one is your favorite? So that's all I have for you tonight. It's a little sooner or a little quicker than I normally do. I've been doing like a couple cards at a time, but tonight I thought I'd just keep it simple and start doing some watercoloring again, and just some simple watercoloring. It's just a wash. It's very, very easy to do, and I think it just has a real pretty look for your cards, and you don't have to color it. It just allows you to stamp a really pretty image, and yet you just get this really elegant look when you're all done. All right, well, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again on Friday.